What's really good, guys? It's your boy, Hatter Ali, from the What's Really Good podcast. We only talk about what's really good with Coach G Dub, my mentor in the building. And now we got my special friend in the house, Coach Hue Jackson in the house. What's going on, guys?
Everything's great, and I'm so happy. You're trying to surprise me and everything that you have Hugh on here. He and I got some great memories, and I think the world of him. And I think it's fantastic that you brought him on. He can also tell you if I'm, not making sense, so it'll be good.
Hey, I'm telling you. I mean, look, Coach Hugh is the guy. You know what I'm saying? So we had to bring him on the podcast because there's a lot of things that's going on around the NFL. What he can touch
Crazy.
on, definitely. So we're gonna start with Coach Hugh. What's up, man? What's going on nowadays with you?
No, it's a great time. Look, when I get to share space with Gregg Williams, one of the greatest coaches in NFL history, I mean, people talking about defense, somebody better be giving him a call so they can slow some people down because he can do that with the best of them. That's for sure.
And I
No, no
appreciate you
kidding.
saying that. And you're the same way. You challenge the heck out of me all the time on all the different places you've been at, and that's why I wanted to be with you.
Thank you.
Now, we have to talk about a lot of things that went on in the Super Bowl. All right. You know, you know what? We got to talk about defense. And, GW, the right guy. What happened with the 49ers in that game?
Well, there's a couple of things that I don't think people are paying enough attention to. Is that you realize that Steve Wilkes did a really good job on holding those guys down. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes. You're talking about Andy Reid, who I have so much respect for. But the only two touchdowns they had in the ball game, okay, on that defense was in overtime on the last play of the game, and after the muff punt that was, down inside the red zone area, and the play right after that. So there was a lot of things that went on in that ball game. I thought, especially in the first half, that the line of scrimmage was won by the 49ers. Those guys were coming off the ball and playing knockback and doing a really good job with that. And then in the second half, the first drive of the second half, they get an interception. And now offensively, they didn't get points on that interception. And you got to do those type of things, especially against a Patrick Mahomes. But, when you take a look at it, it took overtime down to the last play of overtime to be a 25-22 game in the Super Bowl. That was a real well played game on both sides of the ball on defense.
Hugh, what's your input on that?
No, I can't. I think Greg said it well. It's just unfortunate because it led to a coach losing his job.
Yes.
For Steve Wilkes to lose his job after playing such great defense in that game, he's like he said, they gave up two touchdowns, and the last one being the one that won the game. But they had fought, Kansas City as hard as you could fight them. When you
Yes.
hold that team to 19 points, basically, until the last drive, that says a lot, So the question is, what happened to San Francisco's offense? Where was that offense early in the game where maybe that game could have been 17-3 at halftime or
Could have been.
whatever that is. And this is a whole different outcome. So, kudos to both defensive coordinators. I thought Spagnola did a great job, for
Yep.
Kansas City. And obviously, I thought Wilkes did a great job as well.
Hugh, I think you hit a home run with what you're talking about right there. And in the second half, San Francisco comes out and the first three series go three and out, three and out, three and out on
Hmm.
offense. And they only complete one pass, but they only ran the ball one time out of the first 10 plays in the second half, and you got a lead. And you and I
Hmm.
know, I mean, we've talked about all these kind of things before. And then, it gave them a little bit of energy. I'm talking about the Chiefs, and
Hmm.
gave them time to get things fixed, and maybe gave them time to do a little bit of things on trying to fatigue out the defense for the 49ers. But it was a well fought game. I really believe the same thing you did.
Hmm.
I mean, but at the same time, man, look, this what it comes down to in my book, right? I got, I ain't no coach, but I know what's really going on. Now, we all know, a 5-year-old knows, okay? You got to listen. Overtime game, man. Number 33, man. Guy won 2 Super Bowls. I don't know what you're doing out there, man. You got a wide receiver in motion within the 5-yard line. A kid can point that out, man. Cover the damn guy, or at least follow him. Coach Gregg, you know what I'm saying. Coach, you know what I'm saying. Like, come on now. How you
I
gonna
do.
that
But
boy?
here's this. That's a great point. But listen to this, and Hugh knows this. So you got one receiver in motion that's going to affect anywhere from 3 to 4 guys on defense in the secondary to do the adjustment. Even if it's man to man and the guy just runs with him and stays locked on him, but there's going to be a communication because he came into a bunch set. So now there's in and out going on with 2 or 3 guys at the same time with 3 receivers, 2 receivers right there. And if it's zone, he runs with it and there's still an adjustment right there. I think, and Hugh knows this, I've told him the things that he used to do that drove me nuts. The teams that run speed motion and make the defense have to run like heck to catch up on the adjust. When you just jog and look around at the defense is looking at you and holding the middle finger up and saying, we know what you're doing. But Andy and Matt Nagy did a really good job on short, fast motion and then going back out. The same thing they did against Philadelphia last year to win the Super Bowl. And again, they added one more aspect of it, Hugh, and you probably saw that. They pulled the backside guard and getting ready to run a shovel pass. So he had a shovel read, he had a keep read, or he had a drop read right there into the flat. And wow, and that's just something that defensively you got to have your bases covered.
Yes, and it all started on that drive. When Patrick ended up running the ball. It looked like everybody thought it was a naked, and all of a sudden he runs up the field for 15 or 20 yards. And so
and
that
you think
gave
Bosa knows anything about QCBR?
Yes, that's right. And then
He crashes in there, and I can't believe that. I was yelling so loud, you could hear me at your house, and I was in Cleveland.
And you can't give Andy Reid a chance to see that. Him and Matt Nagy sees that, and it's going to play into something else. And that's what it did. And I don't think people talk about that enough, but take it a step back. Why did San Francisco, who won the toss, not kick the ball?
Can't be that simple.
It's not that hard, that's for sure.
It's not that hard.
And I understand what Cal said. I mean, he wanted, to have the last shot at it. But if you don't score a touchdown, you're not going to have the last shot at it.
That's right. I agree.
And I'm thinking, does the Redskin bad magic is still on Kyle's shoulder? Is that what it is? Is that the reason why it's not? Think about it now. Chase Young's on there. Trent Williams is on the team. There's something going on that's out of our control that we don't even know. And, you know what I'm saying? And,
the football gods decide a lot,
I'm telling you, I mean, that's what it is. But listen, people come talking about, hey, Casey coming this game as an underdog. I don't think so. You got Kelsey over there. You got freaking, half the stadium cost network of Taylor Swift over there. Do you think what's going on here? You see that, you got the tickets so much, the prices are crazy. I'm talking. Even McCaffrey's family didn't even come to the damn game. His dad's like, forget that. And
it was only 2.5 million.
There are 32 owners. There are 32 owners, and everybody in NFL that were loving how priced out those seats are. And guess what? It'll be interesting to see how long it takes to get the game back to Las Vegas on how much money the NFL made.
That's right.
Telling you, but
it'll be back quicker than you think.
I agree.
Now, coaches, I mean, listen, we talk about what's real and stuff. We're not going to sit here and say, hey, NFL is rigged. No, we're not going to say that.
No.
But something is going on, guys. Something is going on. Taylor Swift's in the building. Kelsey's in the building. They saying KC is the underdog. I don't know, man. I mean, they came in there and they played like business. Cause look, like Coach Gregg was saying about the motion, like you guys, it can't be that simple now. You know, the guy number 33. You know, after that play, ran back to the sideline. Like, you know how there's a bug in the Madden game, and when it's time to go to halftime, and they just they flip a whole 360, and they just walk towards the locker room. Like, come on, man. Coach Gregg, if you damn well know if you was on the field, you would chew his ass out. Like, bro, what the hell did you just do on
Oh,
that play?
I know, and you know again, and Hugh will tell you too. In order not to be surprised on game day, you got to be surprised at practice and how fast and hard you practice. Game day slows down, and there's a lot of teams that don't do that. And I'm not going to say, you know, about Kyle. I don't know with Kyle and, you know, with Steve and everything there, but you have to practice faster than the game day is, but you don't have the contact. You're not really throwing people around and stuff, but the speed of the decisions and the speeds of the reactions have to be mimicked before you ever get there. Otherwise, it's mom and dad's fault because the genetics weren't good enough to have somebody play.
I'm telling you, and you talking about not good enough. The halftime show, coaches, like what's up with? I mean, what was with the halftime show? I want your feedback first, and then I'm gonna go with my feedback. But
It
Hugh,
was
what was with
Hugh,
the halftime show?
get it from Hugh. Get it from Hugh.
no, Greg. No, I mean we're talking about Usher. He did. I thought they
Yeah,
did a tremendous job. I really do.
I thought he was
I
great.
thought it was fabulous. I mean, obviously everybody's going to talk about him pushing up on our girl, and I get it, you know, but that was just in the moment, right? That was in the moment. Things happen. I don't think he meant anything by it. I thought he was really excited about what they had done and just how everything was rolling out. The roller skating. I know he loves roller skating. I thought it was different, but I thought it was really good.
I thought it was different. I thought it was really good. And the first thing I thought of, I hope he's a better athlete than a musician and not have those roller skates go off the stage, you know. But
Yes.
I thought it was really good. There was a lot of really good things. I do
Hmm.
believe this. I believe that the stadium there in the Super Bowl will do a better job with the transmission of microphones of those that are played because I don't think the sound was at a top quality. But I
Right.
thought the actual entertainment was very good and it really appealed to a lot of the younger generation that you got to keep going that they want to be a part of the NFL. I thought it was good.
I mean, Coach Hugh was talking about, this, with the homegirl Alicia. You know what it really was, what's really good is that the boy ain't come out of his home for about a decade. All right. That boy got that call from NFL. He said, "What? They remember me, huh?" That
Yeah,
boy came out.
absolutely.
Hey, listen, that boy was 2 minutes in. The boy was sweating. I was like, man, someone got to check his blood pressure up there because you know, I don't know about all that, but Usher, man, look, I mean, it was good, it was different, hey, can't hate on the guy, man. You know, he put his
No.
Well, hey, I'll tell you a good thing here too. You think Usher's going to get any kind of a fine like Janet Jackson did?
No.
mm,
Good one. And you see Little Wayne's already petitioning to do the
Yes.
halftime show in New Orleans next year.
I think that's only right.
Wow.
That's only right to do
Wow.
so. Now that will be fire. And
Hmm.
No doubt about it.
guys, something was just off with these commercials too. The commercial game, the Super Bowl was a F minus. Like what? Like Hugh, what was going on with these commercials, man?
It was different. Well, the biggest one, well, but I mean, this guy is a marketing genius. Kanye West.
Mm.
Yes.
Was that really a commercial? Or was that just him speaking to what he wanted to say to get everybody to go buy his sneakers and his shirts and all the stuff that his wife wears? Are you kidding
I
me?
agree. Yeah,
He
I
paid
agree.
$7 million, Greg, and made 19.
How about that?
That's amazing.
You know, they're not athletic enough to play where we've
That-
been, but
That's
they
right.
know how to make money. They know
Yes.
how to do it.
I mean,
Yes.
the people who's buying this guy's freaking stuff, man. His shoe literally looks like a sock. Like what's up with these people, man? Like I don't know, bro. Like are we doing something wrong? Hey, Coach Gregg, we gotta make some shirts, man, that has holes in it, and let's go ahead and sell it for $300.
There you go. I'm fine with that.
I'm telling.
I'm good.
Let's get a shirt and put it through a
I'm
damn
at that
paper shredder and go ahead and sell them.
I'm at that stage. All I wear is sweatshirt and t-shirts anymore, so I'm ready to roll.
That's right. Let's go.
G-Dub, I'm the only guy that can say this because, you saw me grow up, man. All right?
Yeah.
Listen, you need a commercial, man.
Yes, he does.
Coach
You know which one I
G-Dub,
need?
let's say it together. 1, 2, 3.
Bounty
Bounty.
paper towels. I don't know why they don't have my picture on every one they're selling.
That's right.
Man, listen, you gotta call Goodell, man. You gotta have that happen ASAP.
Well, I think he already knows because I won the case. But anyway, he already knows, and so and he and I are very good friends. He's on speed dial. I'm on speed dial. But I could see him all of a sudden be shaking his head if that showed up at halftime of the Super Bowl.
Definitely. I mean, you think 49ers is going to come back from this and make some adjustments? What are the key adjustments they could possibly make to possibly go to the Super Bowl again next year?
Go ahead, Hugh.
Well, my biggest concern, they lost a lot of coaches. After Steve left, there's quite a few coaches now that's gone to the Commanders from his staff. And maybe that's a good thing for Coach. Maybe he needs some new blood, because obviously he's having to deal with that. I think the first thing he has to do is deal with his team. I think his team they're a little disappointed because of they didn't know the rules to overtime. So that's come out, right? So you got to fix that. You now have a defensive coordinator that was fired that, they didn't give up a lot of points. It wasn't like they got blown out. So why did he get fired? Now there's a lot of other coaches that's left. So I think they got to fix the inside of their organization first. And then they got to go, draft and do well. Look, they have a lot of great players. It's not that. They just got to get the right people to coach these players and put them in a better position so they'll have a chance. They'll be one of the better teams this year again.
I think you hit a home run. The staff changes. There's going to be different verbiage, different terminology, different people on you got to reason with, and the offseason is going to be very important with that. I think John Lynch I'm really close with him. The GM there, I think will do a good job. There's some cap restraints, and they're going to have some things they've got to hurry. And, when you play this long, it's coming up in a hurry on the deadlines, on the decisions you have to be making on, changing cap things and that kind of stuff. But I do believe that they'll have a good off season. He's going to have to hire the right people. And that's the most important thing that a head coach has to do is get the right people around him.
I think, 49ers, Kyle is a good coach. No matter what. I was joking about all that, with the Redskins bad magic and all that. But he's a good coach. He has the people around him. They got that O-line. O-line's important, which we definitely need, a.k.a. Commanders. So I think they got good stuff going for them. Their defense is good. But, they got to fix these small knickknacks, man. So it's just like, you can play the best game in the regular season. It doesn't really matter. You come into the Super Bowl, you got to make sure everything's A+++. So, yeah, definitely. But what are the 3 teams you think that's going to be on the rise next year?
Go ahead.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of teams that I think Detroit, I think they've shown that they're going to be in the mix. Obviously, Baltimore, they're going to always be in the mix. Cincinnati can get Joe Burrow, a healthy Joe Burrow, getting back where he's playing like he's played, because I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Yep. And I'm really looking to see what the Raiders do. I said 4. I'm really looking to see, because I watched the team transform under a leader. And I think he's only going to get better. And if they can now surround him with good talent, and with very talented coaches, who knows? It's time for the Raiders to go win something.
And I agree with you. I think the Raiders are right on the cusp, and I do believe in Antonio and his leadership ability and surrounding him with the right people. You and I both know that it's going to be important to decide on, what quarterback, they're going to have to do that to make sure they're doing it, because defensively, they played, the last half of the season, they played pretty dominant on defense. Mm-hmm. And then I agree with you that when Burrow is healthy, It's a totally different team down there in Cincinnati. I think that, and I believe a lot in John Harbaugh at Baltimore. But guess what? I'm really anxious to see how Jim Harbaugh does at the
Hmm.
Chargers,
Hmm.
because I will tell you right now, Justin Abear got my respect the very first time I stepped on the field and was coaching against him in a game. And you and I both know that, Hugh. It's one thing to evaluate film, and you're
Hmm.
doing that. But when you're standing inside the white lines and you feel what you see them doing, it's different. And he's a very, very good quarterback. And it'll be see how they handle their really tough cap situations over on defense on whether they can get over the hump or not. But it's going to be an interesting season.
Well, I think the AFC West is going to be tough,
Yeah.
because he just mentioned it with Harbaugh. But first, you start with the KC, right? And then here
Yep.
comes Harbaugh, here comes Antonio Pierce, and then you got Sean over at the Broncos. I mean, that division now is, and Sean wouldn't got a lot of his guys back with him, and
Yep.
so he's gonna make a run at this thing.
I agree, and that's going to be coming down to that quarterback situation too, because
Hmm.
I do think that staff is solid, and that's a very, very tough division.
I mean, the Raiders, I mean, Coach G Dub, you were the one that brought this guy to life. All right, Pierce, you brought him up there in the starting role with the Redskins at the time. That boy is wearing black Air Forces, man. What can you say?
Hey,
You
and
can't you can't mess with the guy.
everybody thought I was so stupid that I gave him the opportunity when he had not played for 2 years. He'd only been playing on special teams. And all of a sudden, the very first day of the off-season training, boom, I took a certain person out. And I'll have to tell you about who that was at the time. And then, boom, put him in. And at that point in time, everybody in the huddle changed their thought process with Antonio Pierce talking to him. I'm so proud of the young man, and I was pissed off at the end of the season because he became a free agent and we didn't sign him back, and they let him go on up to New York. And Tom Coughlin did a great job with him. So, Antonio is going to be tough to handle. You get that right quarterback there, it's going to be interesting.
Now, guys, I mean, they also got you know, Andre Carter over there in the defensive line coach as
Hmm.
well with the Raiders. That's our dude. So I'm pulling for him, pulling for Pierce. Raiders could just be something different next year. But now, guys, there's a lot of our good friends out there who are looking for a coaching position job. And I see some coaches, I'm not gonna say the guy, but I was on the phone with him for about an hour. He was venting to me. There's some guys who are getting these coaching jobs who has played for maybe 5 years, and you look at their stats, one tackle, and they're getting these jobs, and they got some Super Bowl winning coaches, okay, who are not getting a, a job. It can be a smaller job. What is going on? Is it like okay, look, man, I know that saying that look, it's about who you know. Well, that stuff don't work anymore. What's going on with this whole coaching stuff?
I'll let Greg tackle that one.
Well, I'll tell you this is that
And
and
Greg
again,
Greg is
and
going to
and
tackle
he
it,
he
and
just he
he's going to.
just teed me up. He just teed me up. Is that one of the things I've said, my whole life is that I've had the opportunity to do what I love to do, and I turned my med school scholarship down to be a dumbass coach, and with all that kind of stuff, high academics and everything, and smart as that, but I flunked politics. And I'm not going to be the happy-go-lucky, whatever you want to do, with behind the scenes on people who don't know what we do every single second of every day as coaches. And I've coached over 2,500 NFL athletes now, and over 1,000 of them call me on Father's Day every year. So we must be doing something right. We must be helping out a lot of guys that way. And it's just a cycle of things. And people learn the hard way when all of a sudden you surround yourself as the head coach or the decision maker in a billion-dollar franchise, and you bring somebody in that can't do their job. Well, why isn't it your fault? Because you're the one who hired them. Why isn't it? Okay, you got to make sure you're doing the right thing, and it's just one of those things that happens every year. And Hugh and I both hope that we're on the same sideline looking across the field, getting ready to play against you.
And not only that, it's just like, if I don't like this fakeness stuff, guys, we keep it real, right? There is some coaches who are on the limb, and then once they get the hiring position, then they're just like, the people that they spoke to prior saying, hey, man, once I get that position locked in, I got you. And then once they get that position, when they're on the red carpet, they just leave you on red. That stuff to me is just, I'm not going to talk about. There's a lot of couple guys I'm talking about who talk to me that's going through this right now. It's like, come on now. I mean, it's like, once you're in, you just forget about. You got to remember, man. It's all about caring and looking out for each other, man. So, I mean, hopefully, once they get the stiff arm, they find out, hey, man, I done this dude, dirty in the past. Hey, man, karma is a real thing, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
But
Oh,
so
yes, it is.
so
And inside the white lines is a brotherhood of people that understand how to fist fight to get outside the white lines. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
outside the white lines and all that other kind of stuff there's all that other kind of stuff that goes on. And, but, those people are the ones that are sitting in the stands and are not down inside the white lines. And it's my favorite place to be when I'm not around my family.
That's right.
and speaking about coaching, guys, why is no one hiring Bill Belichick? Please tell me. Please.
I
Who is
wish
going to
I had
speak
the
up?
answer.
I
Who
No,
is
wish
going
I
to
had the, I
we
wish
all
I had
wish we
the
had
answer
the
because,
answer. I mean, it's no different why Greg should be coaching, I should be coaching, we all should be
yep,
coaching. I
yep,
mean, but Belichick he doesn't
like?
have to. We shouldn't even have to talk about that situation. He can be
none.
wherever he wants to be. He's
Is
earned
it
that
because
right.
he has a dirty sock that came on national television? They threw the sock. Like, what's going on? Like, why is this guy not hired? Why aren't you guys not hired? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm over here
Why
thinking,
is
man,
Eric
like,
Bieniemy? Why is Eric Bieniemy not hired?
Same thing. Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah,
Why?
why
yeah.
is he not
I
hired?
totally
And
agree.
why was he just given 1 year?
Mhm.
I don't know. We
And
don't have those answers.
those are things again, that, and again, and Hugh knows it. I'm pretty honest most of the time. It's when if you could spell the word NERD, nerd, those people don't want somebody as strong as us around because they know that we could do their job and our job, but they can't even come do their own job. So it's just those are parts of the things that go on, and in a very visible profession, the most visible sporting profession in the world, and it's just parts of it. And you got to hope and you can continue to pray that you're going to get back inside the white lines again and see how it goes.
Hmm.
That's definitely true. And Coach G Dub, I know that's a good point you made. Actually, that's a very good point you made because if you're over there in a team where there's a new coach and you're walking around, hey, I definitely know that boy's gonna have a stomach bug. Whoever the person's in charge of that team, because he's like, man, G Dub might chew my ass anytime. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good point. Now, guys, we're gonna talk about something that's very close to our heart. Well, your guys' heart, not my heart, because I don't really care about the Browns. But I know you guys care about the Browns. Coach G Dub,
I still
that's
do.
that's your home city. We all know what happened in those years when your guys were there. We saw the tape. We saw the tape. Okay. These new Browns, the Browns that are coming up. What do you guys think the best thing and the worst thing that got going on for them right now?
The best thing, they got a lot of talent. They've
Yep.
won some games, some big games this past year. I think the worst thing is they got to keep their quarterback healthy. He hasn't been healthy, and he hadn't been there. So I think once he's back in flow, I mean, Deshaun Watson is as good as anybody
Yep.
when he's healthy and going. So all these teams, we can talk about them all we want, but if you don't have a quarterback, you're probably not going to win very many
Yep.
games. And it was exciting to see what Joe Flacco did because he's been in this division. I mean, I know who Joe is, helped draft him. But they have a lot of talent in Cleveland, and they got a chance. I think their future's bright.
I do. I agree with you wholeheartedly, Hugh. And I was very proud of the hire of Jim Schwartz, who I had the
Hmm.
opportunity to bring him up through the ranks with the quality control coach and moved him to linebacker coach and then moved him to the coordinator position when I left to go be the head coach of the Bills. And he's done a great job there. They've got a few things they've got to do defensively to take the next step. And then offensively, they've got to do some things there with the offensive line. They've got to get some more depth. And it
Hmm.
was good that some of these second and third guys got a chance to get a lot of reps, but there was no offensive line in the National Football League that played more combinations of people than they did this year. And on top of that, it goes at what Hue was talking about. It starts right there on helping protect the quarterback, and then Deshaun's got to get it out of his hands. Deshaun's, can't hold the ball too long to take some of those hits anymore. It's important that he continues to play.
Definitely. I mean, Deshaun, he just needs to do the right things. You know what I'm saying? You got to preserve the energy. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Preserve the energy. I know y'all getting on, what I'm trying to say. You got to preserve the energy. Okay. And he's come on now, like, you got to come out and play the damn game because we all know we are men, man. We can't sugarcoat this. When you preserve the energy before a workout, before a bench press, right? You're gonna perform.
Can't
Ain't that
argue
right?
with you. I
Hey,
can't
Yeah.
argue with you. I can't.
listen.
I'm not going to argue
No.
with you.
So hey, he has to come out there and play game, you know what I'm saying? And what you guys think about Nick Chubb, man? I mean, we all know what happened in that game. That was probably the worst thing I ever seen, honestly. I didn't even know that was real, honestly. That I thought
Yeah.
that was animated. But
Look,
you
they
think
have a
he's
big
gonna
decision to make there. They got a huge decision to
Yep.
make. Are they going to extend him? What are they going to
Yep.
do? Is he going to be kept casually?
Yep.
Greg knows. I know how good he is. He's a tremendous player, but
Tremendous player.
he had an unbelievable injury, and they have to work through that. If anybody can come back from it, it's him. You
It's
know,
him.
definitely?
but again, you're talking about the Browns that just had the defensive player of the year. They had the coach of the year. They had the defensive coach of the year. I mean, they have
And
a
the
lot of
comeback player of the year.
and the comeback player year. So they got a lot of ingredients that are there. It's going to be an interesting year. I mean, how they continue to build the team, as Greg talked about, on the offensive line, continue to get better in the secondary. Everybody wants to get better in those areas. Continue to give Deshaun more weapons, which I'm sure they'll do. They got a chance to be pretty good.
I agree. And then, I'm hoping that Nick bounces back good. And not only Hugh, and you know this too, he's one of the finest human beings
Oh
I've
my
ever been
gosh.
around when he's not playing.
Right.
Mom and dad, mom did a great job raising him, and
Hmm.
that I'm pulling for him, but they got to do a good job. If he's not healthy at the start of the season, what are they going to do? And that's all
Hmm.
part of the team building that's going on.
I mean, Flacco coming in, you know, once again getting a call and coming in and performing like how he did, won the comeback player of the year
Hmm.
just like that. Do you think the way he played, they might just be like, hey man, just stick around, give him a little contract, you know what I'm saying? A veteran contract. Do you think that's possible?
Never know. Again, he did a great job for him. And guys are when you have somebody that could come in and fill the gap. I mean, he'll be a name that they can always turn to. But I think they're gonna take their shot with Deshaun. If they're paying him, he's the guy that they've staked their future on. They got to give him a chance to show that he can do it.
I agree with you, and just exactly. And Hugh has coached him. I have too. I've been on a team with him before, and like I told you before on this podcast, is that I talked with the general manager and I talked with the offensive coordinator that they need to get him in as fast as possible and get him worked out, and that's when they signed him, and he's done a great job. Now he did so well. Is somebody else going to pay him more to come to their team? It's going to come down to that. But I know Joe wants to come back there. Joe fell in love with Cleveland, as a lot of us have, and we'll see if that takes place.
Hey, Coach Hugh, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Absolutely. You gave
And
me a chance to see my man Greg, so this is
Same
great.
thing, and I gave me a chance to see Hugh, and again, let's get inside the white lines together again sometime and check whoop ass.
Yes, sir.
Coach Hugh, appreciate you coming on. Good
You
luck to
too,
your
bud.
future
Thanks for having
endeavors.
me.
We'll stay in touch for
All
sure.
right. Thank you so much. Good seeing you, Greg.
Good seeing you, Hugh. Tell the family hello.
You too.
Hey guys, listen, I know you're a real one now, so go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. More podcasts to come. Take care.